Hi, I'm Rachel Fear King. Welcome to my channel, Jemima London. It's a very special video this week. I've been out up to Liberty store in London and I've taken a look at the Liberty Bridgerton collaboration for you, which I'm going to share with you. We're going to go to the store together in a minute. Just quickly tell you about a few of the other things I'm going to do after that. I found some sort of Regency core patterns which I thought would be fun to look at as well, and we're going to explore the prints in more detail. And I have got a few makes which I really want to share with you that I've done over the last 2 weeks. And of course, it goes without saying, I could not finish the video without talking about the first episode of the latest series of The Sewing Bee, which came out this week. So I'll be talking about that as well at the very end. So anyway, let's go to Liberty. As you can see, the day I visited, the heavens absolutely opened. Anyway, I started off looking at the window displays on Great Marlborough Street. They have got several windows dedicated to the Liberty Bridgerton collab, full of fake flowers, beautiful fake flowers, and they've got some mannequins that are artfully draped in the lovely prints. So I made my way up to the 3rd floor, greeted by another mannequin. And they have the full range of fabrics, I believe, on display. Now, they've printed them on several silk bases, and they look really sumptuous. They're really beautiful. And of course, they've printed them on Tana lawn. But I'm going to talk about the prints in more detail at the very end, back in the studio. So I made my way up to the 4th floor to the immersive pop-up experience. And it's full of these floral bouquets. And they have each of the 3 print stories. This is Regency Bouquet, displayed on the walls alongside these installations inspired from elements of the show in a kind of Regency style. Obviously, Bridgerton's not historically accurate and it's not intended to be. It draws on the period and sort of interprets it. They've got this really funny little carriage. I thought this was a lot of fun, using the prints inside. Again, this is another display. This is the Penelope's Garden print theme, and they've got one of the fabrics. I think this is Beau Bouquet, perhaps, upholstering a little banquette. They have a little display here of fans and more flowers, and they talk about the balls. They talk about the dance cards and the actual fans in more detail. And then moving on, this beautiful dress which is coming up, which was worn by Hannah Dodd, who plays the youngest Bridgerton sister, designed by Hu Shan Zhang in Beau Bouquet on the Belgravia silk base. And they have some actual wigs on display here. The first one, Prudence Featherington's wig. The second, Cressida Cowper's. And the third, most spectacular wig, was worn by Queen Charlotte, and they were all from season 3. And alongside the wigs, you've actually got these hats and headpieces that you can try on yourself. So you've got a few selfie opportunities there if you're that way inclined. Now, this bit at the end, this is Gunter's Tea Room, and they have got the Bridgerton family home reimagined in Biscuits by the Biscuiteers Limited. It's amazing, and they've got all these other little Bridgerton style biscuits all in the tea room, using all the fabrics for tablecloths and upholstering the seats and the cushions, etc. And there is the 3rd theme there, Botanical Trellis. Naturally, you exit via a little retail area that they've created, and it gives you the opportunity to look again at all the prints on the different bases, and an opportunity to buy them. And they've got some other sort of related products there. So I'm going to go back to the studio now and talk about prints in more detail. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it interesting. So this collaboration has been brought out to coincide with the release of the 3rd series, which is hard to miss if you've got Netflix. Keeps popping up on my feed. And Liberty describe it as a collection of exquisite botanical fabrics created in artistic partnership between Liberty and Bridgerton. And they have used the Liberty archives quite heavily, judging from the description of the individual prints. So I'm going to talk about the 3 different print stories, and I'm going to briefly talk about the individual prints. I'm not going to go on too long because I'll be here forever otherwise. So the first story is Regency Bouquet, and the 3 prints are, in no particular order, Ribbon Cascade, which is inspired by a collection of 18th century hand-printed point papers from the Liberty archive. and a Bouquet Carnival, a floral frenzy of roses, anemones, tulips, delphiniums, lilies, camellias, taking cues from timeless Liberty archival prints, and Posy corsage, inspired by a range of botanical influence in the Liberty archive, with little daisies and rose posies, which I think is probably Posy corsage. I really like. I could see myself wearing something in the Posy corsage. I seem to favour the smaller scale prints rather than the large ones, although I think they're all absolutely beautiful. Secondly, Penelope's Garden, and we have Beau Bouquet, which is the print that they've made that rather fabulous dress in that I showed you in the display in store. And this is assembled from botanical prints in the Liberty Archive, celebrating kaleidoscopic colours and beautiful opulent florals. And Regency Trail is based on Liberty's tree of lifestyle designs dating back to the 60s, and garland hampers designed from a series of archival silk fragments in a 1920s Liberty pattern book. So, and it captures the essence of traditional wallpapers and upholstery fabrics from the 18th and 19th century. And the third collection is Botanical Trellis, and the prints are Amy Louise, adapted from an 1880s fabric found in a Liberty archive book, and Regal Blossom, which is inspired from small hand-painted vignettes in a Liberty pattern book from 1840s to the 1860s, and Garden Blooms, redrawn and recoloured from a hand-painted fragment in an archival book dating back to about 1865. So they draw heavily on their archives. I think they're beautiful prints. They have printed them, the 9 designs are printed over several different print bases, and they do have different colourways other than the ones that I have just shown you here. Of course, they're printing them on Montana lawn, Belgravia silk satin, Kensington crepe de chine, which is obviously a silk, and Monument twill, which is also a silk. So you've got a really wide selection there, and I'll put a link to the page on the Liberty website where you can see all these prints, and you can see the different colourways, and you can see them all the different bases. So I also thought it would be fun to look for some Regency core sewing patterns. I think in reality, if I made up any of these fabrics, I'd probably make them up in something contemporary and quite simple. But there are some really nice Regency dress patterns out there, and so here are some of the ones I found if you've got the urge to go full, full Bridgerton. The Regency Maxi dress, which I think is actually beautiful, by YS Patterns, and this is a PDF pattern from Etsy. It could actually be a beautiful occasion wear dress and a lovely bridesmaid's dress, I think, perhaps. The second one is a bit more fun. This is from Mood, good old Mood, free pattern. This is really young and quite funky. I mean, it's really short, so you could make it longer with this sort of exaggerated tiered puff sleeves. You can imagine it in an organza over a lining, with contrasting lining and a sort of changeant organza. It could be really good fun. That's PDF and it's free. It's a beautiful one from Masin Patterns. Very classic, very Jane Austen actually, particularly nice. And if you really want to go the full 9 yards, I found this McCalls costume pattern, and it's a 7493, available online still, and it's the dress and the short crop jacket, which is beautiful, but it's veering into fancy dress, I feel, or costume. Well, it's a McCalls costume pattern, but still quite interesting if you feel the urge, or you're going to a fancy dress party in the near future. I thought it could be quite good fun. But as I said, I think Liberty have said that these prints have been designed and reimagined for the modern day, and I can imagine a whole host of patterns that some of these prints would look great in, as I'm sure you can as well. So before I talk about the sewing bee, I'm just going to update you on a couple of my sewing projects that I've been working on. This is from a free pattern, which I talked about in my free patterns video. I'll put the link below so you can have a look. There's lots of lovely free patterns that I talked about. I had to wait for the concealed zip, and it is finished now, and I'm really pleased with it. It's just a great, easy summer dress. So that's done, so loving that. And then I made myself a bag. I made myself a little leopard print bag. This is a pattern from, I've got an Etsy store called Pattern Packed, and it's all PDF accessory patterns. And you can make this bag in this size or in a larger size. I've actually shown it to you before in a Liberty print. I'm just going to grab it because it's behind me here. I've shown this before actually. So you've got two different sizes. That's a large size. So anyway, this week I've made a mini one just for going out for the day, maybe going out in the evening. It's 100% cotton. These are just wooden handles, and I made a little zip pouch to go inside as well. It's just a really simple zip pouch, and I'm actually going to attach like a sort of bit leather thong or something to it and attach to a loop inside the bag, so I can put my phone and stuff in there to make it a bit more secure. The pattern is quite simple to make, and it's also got an inside pocket. I just think it's a really cute little bag, and you can actually buy that on my Etsy storefront, and I will put a link to it below, and I'll also give you a 50% discount. I'd like to give this pattern away free, but I can't do that on Etsy because they take commission. So if I give you a 50% discount, which is about as much as I can, it's at a very good price, I think. So anyway, yeah, so you can find that on my Etsy storefront, Pattern Pack, link below. And last but not least, I have made a bias cut dress. I found this amazing retro fabric that you might remember from Walthamstow Market actually. I've made this this ancient pattern. You can tell how ancient it is. It must be over 20 years old, and it's a Vogue Donna Karan bias cut dress pattern. I think you can still find these on the second-hand market on Etsy and eBay perhaps. I'm pretty sure you can. And it's a really clever bias cut dress, and I've made it in so many different fabrics. I've made it for friends as bridesmaids dresses. I most recently, before this one, I made it as a dress that I wore to a really posh wedding in bright fuchsia satin, and I wore like a pink headpiece and shoes to match, and it was great. Simple, but you know, very well distinctive, I thought. Anyway, I'm just going to reveal the version that I've made in the print. So I did show you this print before. I'm sorry you can't see the full thing. It's going to be midi length on me. Haven't completely finished it, otherwise I would have put it on. I've had to let it, because it's bias cut, I've had to let it drop. And it's got an asymmetrical neckline. It's supposed to be higher at that side. I'm just going to turn it round and I'm going to try and show you. It's so clever. It is actually made with one piece, and the panel is seamed from here, and it goes right around down to the hem. So you cut it out of one piece of fabric. So it's not. I mean, it's reasonably straightforward to make if you can get hold of the pattern. I have made a few of them, and it's actually got like a puddle train on it on the original, but that's gone. I've chopped that off. It's going to be midi length anyway, so I should be definitely wearing that in the summer. I'm excited to finish it. So yeah, so that is that's my makes for the last couple of weeks. So last but not least, the sewing bee. Okay, so if you are outside of the UK, I understand you can watch this on BBC iPlayer, but you need a VPN to unlock it, and I'll put some more information about that in the description below. Right, so Series 10, Episode 1, they've got 12 contestants that they're putting through their paces. Because it's the 10th series, they've sort of looked back at some of the things that they did at the very beginning, and they've kind of resurrected them, which I think is quite nice. The first sewing challenge is an A-line skirt. They did an A-line, I believe they did an A-line skirt in the first ever programme, but the one they did just this week It's a denim skirt and it's panelled with contrasting top stitching, and they had 3 hours and 15 minutes to do it, and I think it was a tall order, and I don't think anybody completely finished it, to be honest. So I think that was a tough one to start on. The second thing that they did was the transformation challenge, and in the same as the very first ever time they did this, they transformed a t-shirt. I'm not going to say who, not going to give too much away, but there were 3 that I particularly liked. Alex did a really nice nautical outfit. I also like Janet's, and especially Susie's asymmetrical top. Then the third thing that they do is the made to measure challenge, and I understand that they choose what they're going to make, and they actually can practice this, and it was really great. There were some really lovely things that were made. I thought it was really good. It was supposed to be a casual day dress, and these are some of the ones that I really liked. So I liked Alex's again. She did this drop-waisted dress in a jumbo gingham check, which I thought was really cute. Marcus did a lovely button-through dress, which I believe he made for his wife. How nice is that, having somebody to make clothes for you? Janet's green sundress I thought was lovely. Neil's dress, he made a print dress. I think it's from a 1970s, original 1970s pattern in this great printed fabric. And the best bit, well, the dress was lovely, but he called it Project Margot, which I thought was quite nice anyway, and quite funny. And then Georgie's dress, she made this from tablecloths, beautiful embroidered tablecloths, and although she didn't quite finish it to put the buttons on, I thought it was stunning. I really thought it was great. It was a really good use of, I don't know, you call it upcycling, I suppose. It was really pretty. It was especially nice. And Susie's duvet cover dress, and she had, I think it was the same print, black and white, white and black, and she used the different colorways very cleverly, I thought. So yeah, I found it really entertaining. I'm looking forward to next week's. In other news, I've just had a delivery of fabric that I wanted to share this with you. Lots of Liberty loveliness. It's all from Billow Fabrics, and I might have told you before, Billow Fabrics are great. I mean, this isn't sponsored. They're just somewhere, it's somewhere that I buy my Liberty prints from, and I'll put the link below. And they're really efficient. They send them all really quickly, and they always send swatches. So I think this is the mini Mitzi print, or Blossom print, and this is Betsy Ann, and they always send swatches, which I love. And this you might remember from my Walthamstow mini haul. I bought, but I also ordered some power mesh, which has arrived really quickly, and it was really reasonable, and I guessed the colour quite well, I think, because I ordered this online, so it was a happy accident that it actually sits really well. So I'm going to be making my first ever swimsuit in the next few weeks, so I will show you that when I make it. And just to say, I'm really sorry that I didn't post last week, but for the last 8 weeks, 2 months, I've been studying for this is very random because this is a sewing channel, a sailing qualification. Me and my husband sail, and I've done my competent crew basic training to be on a boat training, and I wanted to do the day skipper training, which they have a theory side and a practical side. And last week I passed my day skipper theory exams. It was really hard. I found it so hard. It was all chart navigation and stuff like that, and I hadn't done it. I don't know, I probably haven't done an exam since I did my A levels, because when I went to art college and did my degree, it was all continuing assessment. So it was a tough one, I have to say. I found it really hard. Anyway, I passed, and I'm looking forward to doing the practical probably in September, and then I will be fully qualified day skipper. Anyway, so I thought I'd share that with you. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I love to hear from you. Comments, please. I want to hear what you think about the Bridgerton collaboration, especially. Yeah, I'd just be interested to know. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Bye.